everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rune Terrible Radio. I am Blevins. With me, as always, is Saucy Mailman. What's up, man?
Hey, dude, how's it going, friend?
It's going great. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's okay because I can see you now and I can see what the stream is seeing, which is awesome. We're
Yeah.
leveling up the
You
broadcast
know, it's
and
it's growing pains, but it's fine. Technology always works all the time, every day.
yeah, and I can now I can look. Let's see. Oh nope, I have not learned over my years of podcasting. You can click the little Spotify button there,
Yeah, and it
and then
works.
iTunes is right there,
Yeah.
and then there's Guillermo del Toro right there.
Yep. Th-
Um, but we're in an interesting time right now, Saucy, because we're in between balance patches. We're
Mhm.
not really that close to the seasonal.
Mhm.
There's all sorts of course drama happening. And also we've got champion skins.
Yeah,
So
we do.
I'm
Yeah,
very
it's funny
pleased.
because there's both at the same time not much going on, but a lot going on at the same
Yeah.
time. Like the nothing going on is cause for there to be a lot going on. It's like a really weird. It's been a weird week. It's been a
Yeah.
weird couple weeks.
Well, it's funny how boredom really breeds drama, funny enough.
So
Where
true.
if
Funny enough,
people are
that's
out
very true.
there, it's funny because like once a patch is locked in for the seasonal and there's nothing that will be changed, all of a sudden people stop complaining about the
Mhm.
patch and they all of a sudden just start trying to win.
Yeah.
Huh. Weird. It must just be a coincidence, but we are in the heat of a lot of things for sure, which we'll be talking about in just a bit. But a little bit of housekeeping. If you're listening to us in podcast land and you want to listen to us live, there are now two places to do that live every week on Tuesdays. The first is twitch.tv/runeterrible. The other is youtube.com/c/Rune Terrible Radio, or just search Rune Terrible Radio on YouTube.
Yep.
Of course, hit the sub button for our videos and the recordings of the live broadcast, but also we're live there. So we've
Yeah.
got that for sure. And also, Saucy, our good friends at Twin Sons Podcast, which we've we've both
Yeah.
been on that.
Yep.
Okay, we've both been on that show separately. I couldn't remember
Yeah.
if you.
No, I
I
honestly.
was actually I couldn't remember if I or you had been on it. I'm pretty sure we both have though. No,
Yes.
we definitely have. And I'm not saying that to demean the podcast. I'm saying that to demean my brain.
Ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to demean my brain and my ability to remember things. Get it? Because I'm old. But they have inspired us to do another giveaway of some Dark Horizons battle passes, which we'll be talking about, uh, which we will be talking about in just a little bit. So if you go to our Twitter, twitter.com/rune terrible, you can see the giveaway there, and then you'll need to join the Discord, discord.me/rune terrible radio. Join the giveaway channel to get in on that. We're giving away 5, and if we can get now, this is a hefty goal, but I think we might be able to do it, Saucy. 500 retweets. We'll just go ahead and double it, and we'll do
Yep.
10 battle passes, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, which is dope. I mean, the new event is coming, which we're gonna talk about here in a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, new event, new battle pass, new shiny cosmetics. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I secretly get the most excited about in a card game, anyways. So
Yeah.
get yours for free.
New cards get old, but new cosmetics.
Who cares
Whew.
about the actual game as long as you look good losing to Zero
Think
Aurelia?
think about it. Think about it like this. They can change the cards at any time, but they're not going to change the cosmetics.
Yeah,
Although
exactly.
maybe they
As long
will.
as I look good losing, I'm
Right.
happy.
Absolutely, you're 100% right. And two last pieces of housekeeping. Of course, we had Runeterra decks on a few weeks ago to talk about the Open, which is happening this weekend.
Yep.
So make sure you check that out. You can go to Twitter and find the details there on Runeterra Decks' Twitter. There's still time to sign up. It isn't a $1,000 open event. I know the community is clamoring for more events,
Yeah.
more competitive events. That's going to be one of them. So make sure that you are doing that. And the other last piece of housekeeping that will actually be gone into in more detail at the end of the show is DreamHack is doing an event over the next few weeks, next 4 weeks of qualifiers into a playoff. I believe at the end of July, and I sat down with the person who is running that event, my good friend Bemi, who we spoke for about 20 minutes, and I'll play that interview at the end of the show to get some more details as to the event itself and what DreamHack is looking to do in LOR, which is really cool. So stick around. Once we sign off, that will play, and you'll hear it in the podcast. So you don't need to go listen to another thing, but it will be there. Okay, Saucy, let's talk about some cool stuff. We got
Let's talk about some
skins,
cool stuff.
new patch, Saucy.
Yeah. So
I'm
we got the
pumped.
patch. What is it? 2.8.0.
2.8.0.
Yeah, there is a point zero at the end. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm making
and
sure
look
I'm
at
not
this.
crazy.
Look at this beautiful production here.
Look at this. It's like we're almost a real show.
I know, so crazy
It's
and
only
awesome
taken
and
us
good.
66 episodes.
Yes, we
No big
finally
deal.
got there thanks to our mystery producer who will remain a mystery until
Forever.
someone can figure out until someone can crack the case and figure it out.
And then we'll deny it.
And then we will deny it till the day we die.
Yep.
But yeah, Saucy, new event, Dark Horizon.
Yeah, we got the new Dark Horizon events, which is really cool. Which comes with the champion skins we talked about, along with the new with the battle pass and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the 4 champions who are getting some Dark Star cosmetic skins, we have Dark Star and cosmetic. It's 2 separate skin lines, but we have Dark Star Zed, Cosmic Zephyr Yasuo, Cosmic Exile Riven, and Dark Star Shyvana coming with their cool champion skins.
Yeah. And to note here, and this is part of the fake drama that we talked about. This is the little fake drama that we talked about, not the big one.
This is the
There's big
small
fake
of the
drama
2
too.
dramas.
Yeah, this is the small one. So Zed and Yasuo have alternate art and new level up animations. Riven and Shyvana just have alternate art. And of course, basically frame 0, someone on Reddit says, I am so deeply saddened that there's no alternate level animation for Riven and Shyvana.
Yeah.
That's like
instant large massive rage post, and Reddit took the bait and exploded.
Just lapped it up.
Yeah, why don't I love Riven? Yeah, so it's whatever. People
like,
love to bitch.
This is yeah, and we don't work for Riot, but it's still like it's just like I don't know, maybe we're getting old and I'm just like, you kids don't know how good you have it with champion skins. This is the coolest thing we've had in years. And you come in and you start crying about it. It's like, it just, if you don't like the skin, don't buy the skin. Right.
Yeah,
and like,
it's a cosmetic.
Right. And one distinction I want to make is that I do think that it is valuable for everyone, the community and for Riot, to know the feedback for things. So like, hey, we like the skins, but we also want the new level up animations on everything. We would like that. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. I don't even think it's unreasonable to not it's not unreasonable to only want, the full package, right? But just the way that the post was made, like the lead is like, I'm deeply saddened by the fact that these skins don't have animations. And it's like, if that's what's deeply saddening to you, congratulations.
So then it makes me ask, here's the question that I have. So think about how much more work it is to animate a level up animation versus just to have card art one. So it's like, would you if
just pressing play on a YouTube video, Saucy?
Yeah, exactly. So if the speculation is like, so you could have this launch for this is the first skins we've gotten in Runeterra. So if they have to have level up animations, what if they only released just Zed and Yasuo and didn't have Shyvana and Riven also? And it's like, I'd rather them, release just the skins
give us more stuff.
often. Yeah, give me more skins more often. it's gonna take longer to animate a new level up animation
Yep.
than to just give us alternate art. So I'd rather them
Yeah.
more often have more shit than less
Yeah.
often have really cool packaged shit.
Yeah.
The end.
And the problem for me again is not the fact that there is a disappointment with, or a
Yeah, I get
not
it.
being up to expectation. That's perfectly reasonable. It's also
Yeah.
perfectly reasonable to voice that opinion, because that's how Riot, and they've been very receptive to things like this. That's great. But like, I'm deeply sad, and get the
Yeah,
fuck out of
whatever.
here with that. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
And no one's even
So
complaining about so there's 4 champion skins
yeah,
in the game. But what it's like, it's a pro and a con, because these are
yeah,
they're cosmetics that you spend money on, right? Like
yeah.
for these skins. And
Mhm.
so there's only 4, which if you want to have them all, the good thing is you only really have to buy 3 of them, because one of them's for Yasuo, which
Right.
no one's getting. So like that's a pro, right? Because it saves you some money.
No, the real pro is that this is going to have more people playing Yasuo on ladder, which
Losing.
means my win rate is going to
gonna
go way up, because I'm
skyrocket.
sure not.
Although, also, those people who bought the biggest bummer with the Yasuo one is like you'll never see Yasuo ever when you play him.
Right.
So it's not like you don't get full value of ever getting to see your champion skin.
The extra skin just weighs down the Yasuo, and it goes to the bottom of your deck.
And see, because everyone, if you don't know, Yasuo has a hidden line of text in the code that says, when at game start, put this at the bottom of your deck.
Yep. Yeah, I believe it. But
Yep.
all jokes aside, and all complaints about whining aside, the skins look awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped about the level up animations. I will say, it is, and although I haven't seen what we have seen, I think there was a Japanese video.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if it was Japan or not, but there's a video that shows the level up animation for Zed and Yasuo. Haven't seen it for Riven or Shyvana. So I'm wondering how stark that difference is going to be. Like, we go from Cosmic Exile Riven to level up old skin Riven level up animation back to leveled up Cosmic Exile Riven, or like, I guess it would actually be Darkstar Shyvana into regular skin Shyvana into regular skin Dragon Shyvana into Darkstar Dragon Shyvana. That's a little bit weird, sure, but also like those animations are so sweet anyway.
Yeah. Shyvana's, like, Darkstar Shyvana's level 2 looks so good.
Oh yeah.
If you go, and you can go, we'll probably link this somewhere, but if you go to the Play Runeterra site and look at the news, you can see the full art on all these as well. So it's underneath where it has the champion skins. You can scroll down and see it.
Yeah.
But one thing that I know Blevins is probably a little excited about, I know I'm excited about. They say at the top here that they're also coming out with their first legendary tier board. And because we've been talking about it, we're like, all right, what's the difference between, we have these epic boards, when are we going to get a legendary board?
Yeah.
We have this coming out, and it looks really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's the one. Well, okay, we're also skipping over the fact that what does it say? It's legendary tier board complete with its own Mega Guardian.
Yep.
I want a Mega Guardian.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's the Dark Emissaries Realm board. And I'm pretty sure that the Mega Guardian is just a giant A-Soul.
Which I'm all about.
Yeah.
Not that I'm biased or anything, but I'm all about it.
Yeah, it looks like Aurelion Soul. It looks like a giant Aurelion Soul that's got like its hand on the deck. I'm wondering how interactable it is. But Saucy, I mean, Mega Guardians aside, I'll take my Mega Guardians. But Saucy, can I click on the goddamn board? Because if I can't, I'm going to be so mad if I can't click on it.
There's a no % chance you can't click on the legendary board.
Okay, here's my promise that I'm making.
Okay, here it is.
If I can't click on the board, I will write a post on Reddit that says, I am deeply saddened by the fact
Yes!
I I'm
yes.
deeply saddened by
Can you
the
just
fact
copy
that I
pasta
can't
the one?
click on.
Just copy
I will
pasta
copy
it.
pasta the whole
Perfect.
thing, except
Perfect.
I'll be serious.
Yeah.
I will be
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but either way,
Anyways, yeah. So that's happening. And then we're getting some new Guardians as well, which is
yes.
very exciting. We get the what is it, the Minionaut. And then the one
Oh
I'm the
yeah,
most excited about that I'll probably never change from, the Dark Star Drake.
yeah. That one's good.
Baby.
The Minionaut is great because if you played set
Three?
three
Yeah,
of
set three.
TFT,
That was
yeah, if you played set 3 of
Galaxies.
TFT with oh god, what's his name? Bard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bard. It's the little astronaut bardling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's your Dark Star Drake, which is sick, by the way.
Oh,
I
it's
mean, let's
so
be honest,
good.
it's so
It's
good.
so good.
And then the next one down, Cosmic Genius Von Yip.
Yep.
Again, I hate the cat, but I really like the way that this one looks.
Yeah.
Just the like that like dark blue with like the purple accent
Mhm.
and like the star stuff. Like it looks so cool. And then we've got the Dark Star Von Yip, who also has an emote,
Yep.
which is sweet. But that Dark Star Von Yip looks great. And then I hate to admit it, Saucy,
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say.
credit where credit's due. We might actually be seeing me rocking a T-Hex because the Cosmic Construct T-Hex looks sick.
It's really good. He's got some like A-Soul vibes in his cool hairdo. It's really good. They whatever, bitching aside from everyone, the Riot team has been killing it with these
Oh yeah.
all of the new Guardians have been awesome.
Yep.
And the new board looks sick and the skins look cool. Level up animation or not, I think they're really sweet. And I like what Relevance and I keep saying, just give us more ways to spend money. Let's go.
Yeah, shut up and take my money and give me
Yep.
more ways to do it too. And like, from the I just want to have more stuff because I'm a degenerate side,
Yeah.
but also the like, hey, if obviously monetization is a thing that is, keeping the game at the very least closer to profitable and allowing
Yeah.
for all these other things to happen and more expansion and terms, blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, let's keep churning this stuff out. Like, let's
Yeah.
get more of it, which is awesome. And I mean, you can even see, you can look at the post yourself at playerunterra.com/news. I mean, we've got some sick Z sleeves. It might be, well, it's
Yeah.
going to be hard because, have the fist back or the fist bump back, which will be hard at some point I'll probably,
Get
put
bored
it
with
on
it.
rest.
Yeah.
But boy, do these sleeves look great. We've got the, the Cosmos one. There's the Dark Star one.
Yeah, which is
The
so
Z
good.
one is sick.
The Z one is super,
It's
super,
so
super
sick. Yep.
good.
And there's Riven, who I like this Riven art. I
Yeah,
like it a
same.
lot. And then there's some emotes as well. This
Yeah.
is what leveled up Shyvana emote. That's sick.
The Von Yip emote is really
Oh
good
yeah,
too.
it's
Real
so
good.
good. Yeah, it's so good. I don't know where it's gonna fit into my emote lineup,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've got some icons
Mine's
as
pretty
well.
tight right now. The Zillion
Yeah.
emote is the one I use constantly
Oh,
now.
Zillion
It's
is
the
S plus
best.
tier. It's not
so
close.
good.
It is.
It works in every situation.
Yeah, it's not close. And then of course the event bundle is coming. And again, we're giving away 5 event bundles right now. Check out our Twitter and Discord, discord.me/RuneTerrible Radio or twitter.com/RuneTerrible for all the details there. We'll be giving away 5 of those. And if we can, I mean, again, lofty goal, but if we can get 500 retweets, do 10. Okay, cool. So that's sort of the synopsis on the the cosmetics.
Yeah, because then we got the other big thing that's coming with the patch.
Yep.
The new, essentially new game mode, the Duo Q Shared Spoils
Yeah.
2v2 Social Lab. And it's sick. They put out there's a
Yeah.
video on their YouTube if you want to check it out, see it in action.
Mhm.
But you grab a duo partner, you grab your decks, and then you 2v2 against some idiots, and it looks really dope.
By idiots, you mean actually other people, which is
Other
really cool.
other people who unfortunately queued against you because
Right.
they're gonna lose.
Yeah, I'm still like I watched the video and I feel like that there's still a little bit to me that is unanswered, but
Mhm.
I mean 2HG man,
Yeah,
like
give us it's two-headed giant, and it's cool. Like I love the ability to play with people like
mhm,
so much. It's so much fun. Like
yeah.
in a card game, competitive card games are 1v1 generally. That's
Mhm.
one of the big reasons I love like Commander and Magic the Gathering because you get to play multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's more of a social format, and like this is something like I want to just hang out, drink some beers, and queue up with
Mhm.
Blevins and beat the snot out of all of you losers who think
Yep.
that you can beat us. We're gonna be playing all of our S tier decks that I'm known to play, and you will lose against Malphite Teemo. You will lose.
I am terribly disappointed that I queued into the Rune Terrible radio and got demolished.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
awaiting. I'm
Yep.
awaiting the Reddit
The
post here.
Reddit
But yeah,
post deeply saddened
I'm deeply saddened.
that I queued up against Saucy Mailman and Blevins playing Malphite Teemo,
Yeah.
and
All right.
I'm gonna reply. I don't go on Reddit. I'm not a redditor. We'll talk about why I'm not a redditor in a little bit here. But I'll go on Reddit and that post, and I'm just gonna say "suck it, nerd." That's all I'm gonna type. Just that return on my keyboard.
uh I
Easy.
um I yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that this came out. I mean, we've talked many times about, and we talked the Umbridge as well on the show about
Yeah.
like how Runeterra is expanding outside of just the 1v1 card game where you're trying
Yeah.
to get your opponent's life total to 0, right? Like it's just like, Magic, early days of Magic, like, when it first started. I mean, even in the earliest days of Magic, people were making their own card,
Yeah.
their own games and different systems for it, right?
Absolutely.
Um but like being able to, yeah, obviously there's a limit to what we can do because of the programming of the game, right? But like, being able to have these other modes is, if they're fun, that's awesome. If they scratch an itch that that you don't always get playing the 1v1 game, that's awesome too. And even if you can just play something that's fun and allows you to keep playing LOR and exploring that and being in the game that you want to be in, but not having to be like, oh, well, I guess I'm back on the ladder grind. It's like it's just great.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, sometimes, I mean, we've all done it. Anyone who plays the game for in like a large amount of time, and I'm assuming if you're listening to a Runeterra podcast, you probably play the game
Right.
enough for this to have happened.
Yeah.
But sometimes you like play some games of ladder, and you just like need to not play ladder for a moment. So having these alternate game
Mhm.
modes like Lab of Legends, I think they said there's
Yeah.
also like a new ultra rapid draw or something update. I don't, something
Mm,
like that.
there might
Uh,
be.
that coming as well. Just like give us more ways to play, dude. Keep people in the client. Like
Yeah. Absolutely. And they actually did still on the Player and Terra page, they put out sort of a little like look into labs and like what they're thinking about when they made labs and like how
yeah, it was cool.
yeah, it was really cool, and it gives sort of some insights into that first sort of iteration that was kind of like what became Lab of Legends, the like Diana, what was it, Diana and Leona, like
Yeah,
single player thing that was like baby Lab of Legends.
yeah, it was
They
really
gave some
cute.
yeah, they gave some insights as like, hey, here's some things that worked for that. Here's some things that didn't. Here's Lab of Legends V1. Here's some things that worked for that. Here's some things that didn't. Lab of Legends V2. Here's some things that we hope are working for this. And 2v2 mode. Here's some things that we hope are going to work for this. Here's some things that might be an issue based on what we experience internally, but we're looking to see. And just like that is awesome. It's awesome that we get that, and it's awesome that they're iterating on it. I mean, the fact that they're investing so much time and resources into Lab of Legends, I mean, it makes me personally happy, even though I'm not like a Lab of Legends main. But like the fact that that brings in so many different types of
Yeah,
people, and also it's just fun.
it
It's
is
just
fun.
fun to play it, which is great.
Yeah, I love it. It makes me happy. Uh, and it's great. So yeah, all of those patch notes can be on the official Play Runeterra website. You can find them on Twitter if you're too lazy to type into a web browser. There's a couple bug fixes that aren't worth talking about, but there's something else that didn't come with this patch that some people were expecting and hoping, and that's some balance changes that some people for some reason thought were gonna come.
Even though they've been explicit and saying that they weren't going to be now, and
Exactly.
it's like very public. Yeah.
Yep. And so this spawned. I think there's a total of 3 Reddit posts from Riot devs on the wonderful website Reddit, where everyone is very welcoming and understanding of things and very cordial, and Reddit's known for that sort of some of that. So there was a few posts that came from the devs on Reddit explaining why Azir Irelia is not a problem, why there's not a balance issue necessarily, they're not overpowered, et cetera, et cetera. They gave some statistics and some insight to what they're working with data-wise. It is a very long post. I think we should post this. If you haven't seen it, you honestly should read it if you're anyone who plays any amount of ladder ever. We'll put it in the show notes or something, I guess. Maybe I don't know how things work anymore.
I'll put it in the description somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
It's not hard to find.
Yeah, it's really not. But there's a lot of interesting information and a lot of vague data posts in here, where they talk about, specifically a lot of this is due to Irelia Azir, because if you've played any games at all on ladder, you've probably run into most of them being against that. It's now hovering around close to, I think, like a 21% play rate right now as of today. I mean, my last stream, I think we queued into 12 or 13 in a row, which was pretty fun. And they go into it a lot. They also, a really interesting thing is they talk about the amount of decks that they're seeing where they have at least one champion with over a 50% win rate. And there's 39 of the champions in the game, they say, have a deck with at least a 50% win rate in there. They don't give how many games played that they use for this. But it's a very long, interesting post. And as I said, as Reddit is known for being very cordial about, we've had a few of the more well-known content creators who've stated how they feel about it. Good friend of the show, Mogwai, who we've had on, who I'm personal friends with, made a long thread about this, a rebuttal talking about it, and got pitchforked out of existence to where he's taking a break from social media for a while. And another good friend, Swim, put out a really good video, honestly. It's long. It's like a 35-40 minute long YouTube video where he talks about all this, goes into statistics and data and how you should read it. I don't always completely agree with everything Swim says. Swim's a good friend of mine. We have disagreements from time to time, but I honestly thought every point he made was on point and valid. If you have the time to watch that, I would as well. But Blevins, how do you feel about this? You've run into any Azir on ladder recently?
I will say, when I was playing ranked yesterday, there was an Azir Irelia in 100% of my games.
Yep.
Mostly because I was playing it, but
yep, exactly. I was gonna say yep.
I actually I recorded a little video that now that I'm saying this out loud, I need to remember to actually send to our producer to put on the on YouTube. So if you want my full thoughts, you can check that out. But basically the long and short of it is, I think without even going into the results of anything, because I think that if you're looking at it from a strictly statistical side, you can't really argue with the Riot dev, right? Because they're giving you the stat, they're giving you literally the numbers that are there. Now I would argue that it's not necessarily that's not necessarily the whole picture, right? Because part of what matters is people having fun, and if no one is having fun, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Well, logically, you should be having fun. So have fun, please. The logic point. I did the math. You should be having fun now. It doesn't work like that, right? So
Yeah.
I think I think that at a high level that's part of it. But I also think it's also possible that there's a give and take on both sides, right? Um, the stats show one thing, the players feel another thing. There's probably something correct closer to the middle of the in the delta of those two feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So like the example I used in the video was with TLC versus Aurelia. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not using the specific examples because I don't know what the stats on those two decks compared to each other are. But if let's just say they had the same win rate, right? If they had the same exact win and play rate, I would guess people are going to complain a lot more about Azir Aurelia than they are about TLC because um the long and short of it is there is a higher percentage of the Azir Aurelia game where the game feels like it's over.
Yes.
Even though that amount of time is still the same number of turns in those two decks. You go, for instance, if you're on like turn 8 and your opponent has a leveled up Lysandra, and it's like, oh yeah, they're going to next turn on their attack token, they're going to play Matron, put a Watcher in play. I can deal with that. If they have a if they have another thing, that I'm going to lose, right? They're going to make 3 Watchers next turn. There's like 2 turns where you feel like you're dead or you're probably dead. It's out of your control whether you're dead or not, right? That's 2 turns out of the 8 to 10 plus that those games last.
Yeah.
Whereas with Azir Aurelia, it's still those 2 turns, right? It's like, oh, they have an Azir, it is now leveled up, and they're going into their attack token, and I'm going to die next turn, or I'm going to take 17 damage, and if they have any more attacks, I'm going to lose. That's still only 2 turns, but that's 2 out of like 6 turns maximum, not 2 out of 10 plus. So I think it has to do psychologically with a larger percentage of the game you play feels determined versus the other. And I'm really just that's just my thought on it, because I think that like the stats don't lie, right? But also what people feel don't lie. And I think part of it is probably, you know, the vicious cycle of streamers saying one thing and then people following that, and then it's a vicious cycle and a self-fulfilling prophecy. Part of it is definitely that, but part of it also inherently is these decks feel worse for a reason, and that reason to me is the one I just explained that kind of makes sense. So
yeah, and that's I'll briefly paraphrase some of the big points, like take home points that I agreed with on Swim for his discussion on this. So there's a few things, and one of the biggest things is taking overall win rate isn't necessarily a good sign of how healthy a deck is for the game.
Right.
Like that's not necessarily the best stat to be using. Even if you look at just play rate alone, like how often you see a deck definitely, taints the feeling of the deck for you. There's a few other things. One interesting thing is because they state in the Reddit post that the overall win rate of the deck is going down over time, and that makes sense. If an entire meta is warped around countering a single deck, its win rate will slowly go down over time. That's just a fact. And the fact that one deck is specifically warping an entire meta around it like that might be a testament of how powerful it is. And there's a lot of people, talking about how, there's a lot of ways you could tone it down. And I think the big problem is how fast the deck combos off, because it is a combo deck. It's not necessarily an aggro deck. Like you have a combo win condition that you just combo and win. But the thing is that deck's time, like combo goes between turn 4 to 6 on average. Like you lose the game between turns 4 and 6. And that's one of the big reasons it feels really bad. And like, so there's a lot of ways. I think if they slowed it down just a little bit, like if they made Emperor's Dais more expensive or something, it could help, because think about like 1 to 2 extra turns. Think of if like TLC killed you on turn 6 with Watcher combo versus turn 8. That's basically how this deck feels. It's essentially doing the same thing. They're comboing you off on turns 5 and 6. So that's one of the reasons it feels really dog shit to lose to.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, and again, I think that point actually validates both sides.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, because it's on the one hand, if you're just like it's if you look at it through one lens, it's the same,
Yeah.
right? It's win rates, it's whatever, its power level is the same. Therefore, you shouldn't feel different about it on the Riot side. Although I'm not trying to speak or put words
No.
in their mouth, but like that is a logical conclusion to come to. They're the same, so you should feel the same about them. Versus you look at it from the other way of we feel differently about these two decks, therefore you should do something differently about them. Those two things kind of clash, and my ultimate point is that I think instead of trying to convince the other side that they're wrong, let's work together and figure out what we could do to make
Totally agree.
things better.
Totally
Because
agree.
it's not just, oh, card bad. Let me tell you, if Riot just looked at Reddit and was like, oh, they hate this card, let's change it, the game would be fucking trash
But yeah,
because
it'd be terrible. But
y'all
we
are
don't want to
terrible game designers. That's why you're not game designers.
Yeah,
I'm just
Reddit
saying
is
it.
not a good game designer.
They are Riot is very good at that, and they do a very good job.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of time and effort into it. Do they get everything right? Probably not. But do they do a really good job? I would say yes. So and the fact that if people are all there's a fine line, and this is with the internet and media in general, but there's a fine line between like, okay, a lot of people are saying something, let's take a listen to see what they're saying because maybe they have something right, and people are just echoing a bad opinion, and all of a sudden you get into like, fake news, blah 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 blah. So what I would say is think about the criticisms that you're making, be constructive with them, and be very careful about how those are being amplified, because if you say something that's wrong or incorrect, or you go like going back and saying, oh yeah, you know what, I probably should have thought about that more, is really harmful to the overall discourse of the game, because then you get people who maybe are younger or aren't don't have the time to think about this, and they just read a headline and go, oh yeah, no, Azir bad, me hate Azir.
Oh, I
Why
mean,
don't
how
they
many times
nerf
has
it?
that happened where,
Literally every fucking patch since the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Well, and that happens in every single card game, and in this one
Yes.
streamer says one thing because they don't like something or they do like something,
Right.
and then all of a sudden that becomes word, even if it's not true. That's happened in
Yeah.
Magic so many times. Like I remember, like I don't remember who exactly it was, but there was a player that said Abrupt Decay wasn't that good of a card, so people started cutting it out of their modern decks, and I'm like, wait. Abrupt Decay is fucking great. What is wrong with you? Like, just because one person has an opinion on something doesn't make it law. So use your thinking brains here.
Yeah, that's the overall sentiment. Use your thinking brain, please.
So I have two big takeaways I do want to say.
Yes.
And this is something that I say all the time to my community, my stream and whatnot. So if you are having fun with Azir Aurelia and you like the deck, keep playing the deck. Play the deck you enjoy in the game you enjoy playing it in. Do not feel bad for playing the deck just because it's got a target on its back right now. It's not your fault that the deck is so strong. You didn't make it, and it's not your fault. Like, the deck is fun to play. I'm sorry, but Aurelia is very fun. Attacking 20 times a turn is very fun. It's not your fault. Don't feel bad playing it. Enjoy playing the decks you like. That's just it. Like, I get so sick of people villainizing other players for playing a deck they enjoy just because it's good or overtuned. Sorry, winning in card games is fun. And if you have a big problem with that, maybe you shouldn't be playing card games. So stop hating on people for playing the deck they enjoy. Like, it's getting so tired. I hate seeing that on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm over. And for what it's worth, I think Azir Aurelia, I think, is a different it feels to me at least like a little bit of a different conversation of like, oh, this deck is overtuned and people are echoing and talking about that, which I think a constructive discourse of that is fine.
Yeah.
And it's less of, and I feel like we've started to see less of the like anti-net decker camp.
Yeah.
We've started to see less of that, which I think is good because it's a really
stupid. It's a stupid
Yeah,
take.
it's just it's a dumb take.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But yeah, yeah, I mean, play whatever you want is
Yeah.
my whole
Play what you
thing.
enjoy.
I'm playing Azure Rally right now because that deck is fun. It's
It's
good.
super fun.
It also like, yes, there are some draws that are like, okay, no matter what I did, I won. But I found because I misplay that deck so much, there actually is a good amount of play to that deck and like
Yeah.
sequencing and planning out 3 turns in advance and like, okay, I'm gonna have enough mana to do this, and then I can blade dance, and if I use my lead and follow on fast speed on my turn, I can attack an additional time that does 3 extra damage to the Azir, and then Azir can block here. Like all these things, like really, like knowing what you can and can't do really helps because I've seen my win rate go up way higher with that deck just playing it over the past like 4 days.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing when you're looking at play rate and win rate. Like when a deck is played more, it's going to be played more by less skilled players, so the win rate is going to naturally go down. That's why like you can't take statistics like that as law, and that's where like a lot of people are using this Reddit post to defend or the opposite of defend, attack certain people and players, and it's just like it's a data post. Take it with a grain of salt. But my other post, this is what's I was furious. I was legitimately furious that Mogwai felt the need to have to leave social media, take a break from social media, can't go on Twitter because people were personally attacking him for feelings on the card game. Stop doing that. Don't do that to people.
That's fucked
like
up.
Stop personally attacking people. I had this conversation with my chat the other night. Like the Runeterra as a community, we are a smaller community. We need to not be villainizing people in the community.
Yeah.
We should be working together, having constructive conversations because we're a small community. We're not as big as something like even Magic or Hearthstone or whatever because we're newer. The game's been around a year. We have less players, less content creators. Like we should be working together to try and make a better community, not tearing each other down because they like a different deck in a card game than you.
Yeah. Also, if you're gonna attack anyone personally, come get some at LAN. Let's go. I'm bigger than at least 90% of you. I'll fucking take all of you.
Yeah.
And our producer is my personal bodyguard, and he's even bigger than I. See, I'm leaving clues. You now know it's a he. Is even bigger than I am, and will take you all down unless I'm lying. Ooh, who knows?
Ooh.
But
come face us off in 2v2 labs where we'll beat the shit out of you. Yep. Easy.
My producer's our producer's talking in our ear right now, saying that they claim they are the biggest person that will listen to this episode, and I would bet money that that is true.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm ready.
Easy.
I got diamond hands. I got diamond elbows. Let's go. Anyway, please don't fight each other. I'm not advocating violence for the record.
Unless it's in 2v2 labs. That's where you fight.
2v2 labs. Yes, we will fight everyone. But
Stop being negative, everyone. Like it's tough. Like I'll be the first to admit this is probably some of the least fun I've had playing the game. I personally am not enjoying the meta.
Nope.
If I was a player that was specifically just playing to win and I was just going for a high ladder finish and win rate, I probably wouldn't be playing the game right now. But because I get my enjoyment differently, I just like brewing and playing different stuff. I'm still having a good time. I'm still having fun with the game. Me saying it's the least fun I've had doesn't mean I'm not having fun. I'm just saying it is the least fun meta I've played in. I am not like I don't enjoy the meta for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But I just don't like it when there's one game. Like I said, I think we queued into it, the same deck 13 games in a row. And like, that's where I just start getting kind of like, it eats at me and I get a little disheartened. I'm like, oh, wow, yet again, the same deck. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, what's funny, and I've heard a lot of a number of content creators and players feel the same way as you, that they're just not having fun right now. Which is, and it's weird for me because, like, I mean, maybe it's just because I am playing as Aurelia. Like, I've been having a lot of fun. I think that deck legitimately is super fun. Is it a little overtuned? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's not my job to figure that out. But like, I've been having a lot of fun with it. It is a good deck. I like playing a good deck. I like playing TF Fizz. I like playing I like playing some of the Aphelios builds
Lee
before he
Sin.
got nerfed. Lee Sin, I love Lee Sin. So I think different people get enjoy different things, different decks and different play styles. So
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't
what I was
know.
saying. You can't get mad at someone for playing a good deck. Like, sorry, but
I mean, you
like,
can, but just don't.
yeah, but it just makes you shitty. Like, don't go to Friday Night Magic back when that was a thing. Rest
Oh
in
boy.
peace. And be
Yeah.
like, oh, I hate you because you're playing Jund. It's like, sorry, I didn't make the deck good. It's just good. Sorry.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But yeah, it's been I mean, the scary thing about the post is I don't remember if it was in this Reddit post or not, but it was somewhere where they said they don't expect balance to come to this deck by patch 2.9, which is not this coming patch, but the patch afterwards. That
Right.
scares me because if that's the case, that's going to be a long another 4-6 weeks of this, and I don't like that. I'll just say it like
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Um it really is going to depend on
100%.
what else gets
Things can
changed
always change.
because cuz like right now, I mean, I have more of a problem, and again, I'm probably biased because I'm playing as Irelia, but I have more of a problem with Thresh Nasus. Like this is like still S tier and coming off of
Hmm.
being S tier from the last seasonal
Yeah.
uh before Guardians of the Ancient came out. So I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, and
Yeah.
we'll obviously be talking about those patch notes when they come in 2 weeks or whenever it's scheduled to come out. But
But the
either
good news
way,
is we'll have, if the meta is dog shit, we'll have 2v2 labs. I'll just be doing that all the time. I'm
2v2
so excited.
labs and new skins. And the best part is that there's a playable Zed deck right now
Yeah.
in on ladder, so we can use the
And
Dark
Shyvana.
Star Zed. And
Shyvana's
a lot of
great.
Shyvana decks. Yeah.
Shyvana's great.
Yeah.
It's just funny because if you would have
And
asked me a couple months ago if
yeah.
Shyvana was going to be great, I'd say not a chance because she sucks
Right.
asshole. But now
Oh,
Shyvana is great.
yeah. And honestly, there is a Riven deck that's playable. Riven
Yeah.
Draven.
You know
Deck
what else
is
is great right now? Fiora. Can you
true.
imagine if Fiora wasn't nerfed, she would be the strongest deck in the game right now, probably. Because
Yeah.
Fiora can just destroy Blade decks.
It can, although I did win that matchup because my
Oh
opponent
yeah.
misplayed yesterday. Yeah, I know. I was,
Fiora is
and it was the.
so hard to play properly. I'll just say it. Like
It is.
Fiora
It
decks
is.
requires a skilled player.
Well, the beauty is that I've played that deck a lot, so I
Yeah.
knew, and I'm like, I bet I can bait them into using an extra single combat here, even though it doesn't actually accomplish anything. And it's like,
They did it.
and I got a sharp sight.
Sharp Sight's a good card
And
right here.
I barely won. But Saucy, let's shift the focus to something more to something that is much more
Hell yeah.
positive. We've got Pride Month coming back from
Yes.
Riot overall across all of their games. Actually, we have got a bevy of Poro Pride Poro emotes. Obviously, if you remember last year, we got the Pride Poro Guardian. It looks like the Pride Poro is not coming back. So sorry, anyone who did not get the Pride Poro, but we do get what looks like the I forget what they're called. I call them Heffalumps, but that's from
Yeah, I
Winnie
have
the
no
Pooh.
idea what the thing is.
The elephant guy Guardian.
They said
which
what it is, I
sweet.
think, somewhere, but I have no idea what it actually is.
The rainbow fluffed every riot.
Its name is Ellie, I think, because they
Ellie,
say there's
yes,
the
that's
Rainbow
right.
Ellie Guardian.
Yeah, the Rainbow Ellie Guardian, which is great too. And then I think that's is that Tiari the Tireless? Yeah.
Yeah, we have
which is cool.
their emote, and then we have the bevy of the icons, and it's just cool. Like if you are a fan of Riot Games, which again I'm gonna assume you are because you're listening to a Runeterra podcast.
No, I'm deeply saddened by
oh,
Riot Games.
Pants! But yeah, we got everything in League, TFT, Runeterra, and it's really cool.
Valorant
I just love
as well. Yeah.
And Valorant, yeah. I always forget that that's a game.
And
that
Wild
exists.
Rift.
Yeah, and Wild Rift. That's a game that's separate from
pumped.
League. Yeah,
True.
there's just like a lot of stuff, and it's cool. I just like to see companies be this forward and outspoken about taking a stance against transphobia, homophobia, all that. So yeah, it's great. It makes me very happy. And it's dope. Very, very good positive stuff. Good job, Riot.
Yes.
You're not making us deeply saddened with this one.
That's true. We are deeply
Happy ended.
We're happened.
Happy
We've
ended.
deeply happened. Yep, that's what I meant. Yes, a little palate cleanser there after the salt we just ingested with the other Reddit posts. But Saucy, is there anything else that we wanted to talk about before?
I don't think there's anything else crazy that's happened. It just seems like it's been a very long week, even though it hasn't. Just with every
it does. It's Tuesday.
It's been a lot.
Man,
it's been a lot.
This week has been super long. Lemon, it's Tuesday. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think just not a ton of stuff going on, but just enough for us to talk about. And I mean, the cosmetic stuff I think is just super cool, and
yeah,
we're going to be
so ready
experiencing it all tomorrow. But again, we're gonna do a little end of the podcast now, but stick around because all of the details on the DreamHack event, as well as my full interview with Bemi, is going to be happening right after we sign off live. So stick around and listen in the podcast world. It is all as well as on Twitch and YouTube. But Saucy, where can people find you on the internet when you're not here?
Yeah, you can find me. My website's just saucy.live, saucymailman.com. I've changed my stream schedule basically officially, so I'm streaming every morning at like 8 a.m. Pacific time, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday I'm streaming in the evenings at like 4 p.m. Pacific time, and we're doing different stuff. We've been playing a lot of Resident Evil Village, so if you want to see me get scared, that game is
get scared by the big vampire lady.
Stressful. It is a stressful game.
Yeah, I always feel like I want to play those games, but then I'm like, no, I don't.
Incredible. A good friend Flindo, who's in here talking shit in the chat, saying he doesn't know what Riot Games is. I think he's played that game like 12 or 13 times, something ridiculous. So
he's played Riot Game. He's played Riot Game 13
Riot
times?
Game, yeah, no, Resident Evil Village. So.
Oh, okay, nice.
Anyways, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is great. Well, you can of course find the show on Twitter at Runeterrible. Runeterrible.com, youtube.com/c/runeterribleradio, and discord.me/runeterribleradio. And again, we have the giveaway going, so go to Twitter and retweet that, and then head to Discord, join the giveaway channel, and the bot will show you what you need to do to enter, and we'll be doing that. So that's going to be awesome. If you want to follow me on Twitter at @the_Blevins, I've also been streaming somewhat consistently, weirdly enough, at twitch.tv/theblevins. That's been fun. But that's going to be it for this episode. Again, stick around to hear the full interview with myself and Bemi talking about the DreamHack event. But otherwise, we'll be back next week to talk about more Legends of Runeterra. Hey, everyone. You're in the middle of an episode, but we're starting a new thing that happened in the past, but will be happening in the future when you listen to this. I never know how to talk about time when it comes to past, future, present podcast world, but we're here talking about some awesome events that are coming up in the LOR space with DreamHack, and I am joined here by Bemi, who is the mastermind behind these DreamHack events. Welcome, Bemi.
Hi, thanks for letting me come on here. I am absolutely honored to talk about things.
I'm super glad to have you on. And Bemi, of course, we go back actually a few years now. It's weird because anything that
Holy
was
smokes. How do we meet?
I think it was Boop. That sounds about right. Through Boop with TFT.
Did come into it. I think. Oh, you know what? We did meet. And it was Boop, and it was because of the Cruise Arena clash. It was back in 2019. I scrolled back all the way up our conversations. So we met in September 1st, 2019, and you reached out to me about the Cruise Arena Clash tournament thing. And this was like a program thing that I was working with that like was trying to add spectator mode to TFT in there.
Back in 2019, trying to add spectator mode to TFT since 2019. Apparently coming soon, by the way, Bemmy.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
We've been
Hey,
around
you know
long
what?
enough.
I'm credits to them. They've been doing a great job making the game fun. But yeah,
True. Yeah, but
gotta have fun game first before you want to make people watch it, right?
I'm not gonna try to pretend like I know which
I'm
which
just
chicken or
making
egg comes
excuses for
first.
them at this point. Yeah, I don't know.
Luckily, it's not. Well, it kind of is your job to figure out the You need to make
It
the
is now,
omelet
yeah.
regardless of which chicken or egg comes first.
I have I have very they've gave this DreamHack has given me sort of semi-deity demigod like powers, and I am
Ooh.
trying to figure it out. Basically my title, right, so overall I work in the community clash division, which the
Mm-hmm.
best way to describe it, if you're from North America, you may have heard of a place called Shake Shack, which
Yeah.
is like gourmet cooking meets fast food. We're kind of like that in esports, where we're S tier production meets grassroots community.
Mm.
So I basically do a lot of sociology research where I
Mm-hmm.
find less popular games that need a little bit of loving
Mm-hmm.
from big budget companies like us, and also lesser popular communities in popular games. So like I'm also running a European Valorant event because
Hmm.
Europe is the least loved region out of all the regions. Which is crazy, but it's probably because of like the CS Monopoly and all this other stuff. But like
And by
basically,
least
so
loved, you mean like by the tournament scene, or do you just mean that everyone hates EU and NA greater than
no,
EU? Because
no.
I'm fine with that claim too.
You could your words, not mine. But I mean, basically, it's the least amount of events, or there's not enough
Sure.
events going around,
Mm-hmm.
and like EU definitely. There's some tournaments going on. There's some great community stuff, but we can definitely give it some more love. But anyway, so yeah, and then this thing specifically that we're talking about is
Yes.
for this summer Strat Festival is part of a greater thing called DreamHack Beyond. So if you know like DreamHack Dallas or
Mm-hmm.
DreamHack Stockholm, this is kind of the virtual version of that, DreamHack Beyond. And my title for this one is specifically I'm one of the tournament directors and production directors for this. So I'm in charge of hiring people for the community clash sections of these
Mm-hmm.
tournaments and all this other stuff. But there's so much going on. So if you want to check that out, it's like I think it's dreamhack.com/beyond, or just Google DreamHack Beyond and you'll find like the website link for it.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, specifically for the LOR community, because I know the second. I mean, even before. I mean, when I don't want to name any names, but one of the casters just randomly tweeted out that they were going to be casting this event before it actually went public. I don't want to. I'm not going to name any names. It was me. People immediately started
Rhymed
asking
with Revens.
yeah, right, yeah, right. They're wearing my hat right now. But people immediately started asking me about like, oh, what's this event? What are the details of this event? How can we play? Blah blah blah. Because like DreamHack, obviously, for anyone that knows anything about esports or has been involved in esports or has even just watched esports events for any amount of time, it's synonymous, right? It is the endemic name in esports events and sort of community and even professional level events for esports. So it's the type of thing where when LOR first comes out, obviously a lot of people have aspirations for competitive events, and eventually getting to a point where we're at a DreamHack Austin, a DreamHack Stockholm. But this is sort of the first step there. So what sort of brought you towards LOR? I mean, there's a million games that you could have picked for an event like this. What was the allure of LOR?
So, with the allure of LOR in general, this is kind of I really the best way to describe this, and this is just me being a nerd again, is like uh this is kind of like MCU stuff where we're kind
Mm-hmm.
of laying down the foundations and planning to branch out into a lot of things. Um I so for those who don't know, my background comes from competitive card games.
Mm-hmm.
and or CCG, and like I started in Magic, Paper Magic, and then when I started working in esports, I started with Hearthstone. But with the climate of CCG, there's not a lot of opportunities to branch out in your career. Um, in a lot of stuff. And I think actually, the Esports Observer really hit the nail on the head with this article when it was announced that like Magic discontinued something. Is that like there's a lot of need to grab inspiration from the FGC community, where we do see a lot of players dual wielding and all this other stuff. Where there's just like there's a lot of stuff being bridged and there's multi worlds kind of stuff. And I don't think there's really that thing yet for CCG. And I kind of with this sort of platform that DreamHack has given me with Community Clash, I really want to try to give more love and start developing more third-party foundations and more opportunities for dual wielding CCG players that are brave enough. Because Runeterra at its core is an amazing game because of the cost effectiveness of it and just the accessibility alone is fantastic. So if we can start creating more events to encourage card games and strategy game players to start dual wielding, that would be great. And I think Runeterra is one of the first games that needs to be sort of that bridge gap. It's Riot, so it's already a significant name. There's a lot of, again, the accessibility, and I think that sort of works out. So with the Summer Strategy Festival, which is what this is a part of, it's that idea of like trying to bridge that gap. It's sort of like trying to be semi the Evo of strategy games.
Sure.
Because it's also sharing a stage with also Minion Masters and Temtem, which are other types of strategy games. We're going to try to add more titles in the future, but basically this is sort of to start that initiative. And I chose Runeterra because I do think it outside of Hearthstone, it is the other most recognizable card game that's slowly coming up on the radar.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really a noble goal to try to, I mean, obviously bring the game to more communities, but also bring more communities to people who are playing these games competitively. There's just not, like you said, there's not necessarily, at least at like the, non like top tier professional or top tier content creator space, there's just not enough pie to go around for the grinders like there would be in MTG, where there's Grand Prix every weekend and there's multiple Grand Prix across the country and world a weekend. There's this SEGs, there's the TCG player. This is all, years ago, but there was, I mean, even at to the point of FNM, where it's like you could, be a local player, never even play at like a professional REL event, and have a time of it, right? You can do that.
Or like I've seen people like when I was at my local card shop, they would just grab their camera and they would make YouTube videos about going to their local FNMs and stuff like that. And like a lot of that type of early competitive content in YouTube era is like all of it just it all leads up to something.
Yeah, and we're really glad to see Runeterra obviously be added to that mix. It would definitely be a struggle for a lot of people to dual wield card games, if only because it's X $1,000 to get into Hearthstone, and then X. I mean, LOR is great for that, but the other games not so much.
Well, Hearthstone's working on doing that a lot, to be fair to them. There's now, free decks and like a core set and all this other stuff, and you can get. They're like, I really do think Runeterra has sort of, I think, done a good job by putting pressure on its competitors to say, we still make money from this game, and we can make it cost effective for our players to still get into a competitive level with anybody. So I think those have started to draw the inspiration. Now there's a good, healthy competition. I think we're going to see that more in the future thanks to Runeterra.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see all the games sort of iterating because of each other, and the healthy competition definitely does drive that. So one thing that I know people are going to be asking, and maybe you don't have an answer for this now, so don't feel pressured to answer something you
I
don't know
will.
the answer to. But
Don't worry.
people are going to ask, what is the plans for DreamHack with Runeterra in general? I mean, is there a thought of maybe having it be featured at more events? Is there, more plans for circuits or opens, anything like that?
I can't speak on behalf of all of DreamHack. I do know there's been talks with Riots before to be a little more involved with them, like we
Mm-hmm.
have with Hearthstone, because of that whole deal where ESL bought the HS Esports stuff. We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get more hands in the pie.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say from the community class division, we have plans to run their own events and stuff like that. And I do plan on producing regional events. And really, again, the old, if you've been around Hearthstone for a long time, you will have heard of the Hearthstone Championship Tour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And basically, I want to try to build that with Runeterra. I want to have something where it doesn't run into the problem that I think a lot of card games competitively have at the moment, which is COVID obviously didn't help with this, but there's
Mm-hmm.
right now this sort of idea of like almost sitting in a cubicle and just getting back to work on grinding and going to the next event
Mm-hmm.
and just hoping you qualify. And there's just sort of this repetition that happens and breaks. So I want to try to develop this circuit and other ways of qualifying and
Mm-hmm.
basically make it a more custom journey that is um, accessible and flexible, but also able to let players really enjoy the idea of actually going through their own paths. Obviously, it's
Mm-hmm.
very difficult because you have to stick with a competitive structure of some kind, but still, that's probably going to be a plan more further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
This was so when you see me producing Summer Strat Festival and all these other things that are happening at DreamHack Beyond, these are sort of the vibe checks. These are the
Mm-hmm.
analytical stuff that I'm doing. So the more people sign up for this, I can go to my boss and say, "Hey, we have a lot of people that really believe in us to do a good job,
Mm-hmm.
and we should really try to be active in having them put our faith in us and
Mm-hmm.
produce these amazing events. Here's all these things that we can do," and sort of like go from there. But obviously, it's baby steps. So
Right.
maybe the next thing after this would be probably a circuit of some kind, but the level of the significance of like compared to HCT would be not for a while quite
Sure.
yet.
Sure. Well, I know obviously from being entrenched in the scene of LOR that people are just chomping at the bit for more tournaments, just in general, right? I
Right?
mean, we had the Mastering Runeterra Open last weekend, which was great, and a lot of people showed up and played and also
I
watched that. And next weekend is the Runeterra Dex Open, and then obviously we've got the first week, the first qualifier this week for DreamHack Summer Stratfest for LOR, which is awesome. Um, can you, Bemi, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, just like a 2-minute like overview of what is the format for not like the game? I mean, it's Riot Lock, but I mean, what is the structure for the tournament as a whole for this event?
Oh, sure. You don't want me to go for the long-winded answers that I've been giving you this whole time?
No, I mean you don't need to explain that it's Riot Lock because people understand that, but I mean like the structure
Right.
of the tournament part of it.
So, for 4 weeks, from May 20th to June 10th, we will be having a qualifier where there's a 64 cap double elimination best of three, where the winner of each tournament will qualify for the Summer Strat Festival playoffs, which will be at DreamHack Beyond itself
Mm-hmm.
on July 26th, I want to say.
That
Um,
sounds right, maybe.
dates are yeah, dates are
It's
officially
busy.
announced. They're
Yeah.
they're they're announced somewhere. I have them in my notes. But it's roughly around that, and then basically, each week will be a $50 prize pool, followed by a $500 prize pool, where the playoffs will be the four players in a double elimination
Mm-hmm.
bracket competing for that nice piece of the pie. And yeah, it's very straightforward, very simple. I wanted it to be an easy theme that could be followed.
Mm-hmm. which is awesome. Yeah, I mean, keep it simple for the first one. If I think the last time I checked, the first qualifier was almost completely booked in terms of registering.
It's already completely booked.
Yeah,
It was within the first like 48 hours or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, which is awesome. The Runeterra community, we're chomping at the bit, baby. The more you can feed us, the more we will eat. So let me tell you.
Yeah, I feel like I really need to open up the buffet a little bit more for the public, but gotta vibe check first. So after this, I mean, with numbers like those, they help me sort of say to our bosses, like, hey, we need to do more of this because obviously we can do a lot of good here.
Sure. Yeah, which is awesome. So, awesome, Bemi. Is there anything else that you wanted to specifically call out for the tournament or what you're doing with this event in the LOR space?
I love CCG. I think it's one of the most accessible esports in general for everybody, and I think there is so much potential to grow. And I think Runeterra is that great example of how players can dual wield, and I really want us to start seeing more players trying different games and not being intimidated to be stuck in one lane as it has been for so long. So I really hope that with DreamHack, we can do this and we can really inspire a lot of people. And also look forward to seeing Blevins, Casanova, and Charmer.
Ooh, a star-studded casting crew, and also me on the show.
Hey,
it's gonna be great.
You're absolutely beautiful. Don't let anyone else tell you that.
Oh, thank you.
Otherwise.
Sorry, I won't let anyone else tell me that. Okay.
I realized the same.
Hey, you're beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop you there. Bemi said no one else can say this. A slip of the tongue on camera can never be taken back. Oh, you absolutely love it. Well,
that's the internet, kids.
there it is. Thank you so much for coming on, Bemi, and talking about the event. Before we go, first off, where can people, I guess, sign up for the other qualifiers, and also where can they watch the event, and then where can people find you?
Sure, yeah. I will overlap one of the two and say that you can find all the events. I will be semi-announcing them almost every week at my Twitter, at Bemi Esports. Also on top of that, follow the Battlefy page. We will be I'll be making the event pages over time and stuff like that. So following the Battlefy pages and getting notifications there. The Battlefy is literally DreamHack Community Clash, I believe. Yes, it is. So yeah, if you literally look up DreamHack Community Clash as an organizer on Battlefy using their search bar, you'll be able to find it. And then you can find the channel where we'll be streaming all the grand finals at DreamHack_Clash. We'll be doing those around roughly 8:30 Eastern every Thursday. So keep an eye out for that. And if you want to see the other games as well with them, we will be doing it on that channel as well. And also, just want to throw this out there. Well, if Saucy Mailmans watch this, you're also beautiful too.
Nope.
Just have to throw that out there.
Oh, that part's getting deleted, and it's just me, baby. Anyways, thank you again, Bemi, for coming on, and make sure everyone is going to be checking out the DreamHack event the next few Thursdays of the month, and maybe you'll see me on a couple of those. Actually, you definitely will see me on at least a few.
You will. You've been booked. You're hired.
I'm booked. So it is confirmed. It is decided. But thanks again, Bemi. And we'll see you all at DreamHack on Thursday.
Yeah. Bye.